Stephanie Rule on MSNBC did an interview with Bruce Levell, and this guy is difficult to describe. I'm trying to wean myself off of the word coon, but it's guys like this that make it difficult. I'm going to play this clip for you, and I'm going to jump in here at a point in time and give you some additional information on Mr. Levell.
There isn't going to be a wall built, and Mexico's not going to pay for it. And there's not going to be a ban on Muslims. None of that is, this is all like a alternative universe that he created. The reality is that's not going to happen. And people are going to be deeply frustrated, and the divides will grow in our country.
That was Jeb Bush last month predicting to MSNBC that Donald Trump would switch his stance on immigration, and today we're learning he may be doing just that. Today, Donald Trump meets with Latino and African American leaders in New York as part of his outreach to minority voters. Sure to come up, his apparent changing position on his signature issue, immigration. Joining me now is Bruce Levell, the executive director of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump. Bruce, welcome. This was Donald Trump last November on Morning Joe.
How do you deport 12 million?
Okay, so let me, you do it, because they're here illegally, you do it.
Do it, you do it. Now we're hearing from him, let them pay back taxes, the good ones can stay. Is he flip-flopping on immigration?
All right, now he is going to give a long, blown-out answer, which at the very end of it, the answer is he's evolved, basically. So the answer would be yes. But watch this guy try to spin this like crazy.
Well, Stephanie, you know, just like any other campaign, as you travel and you progress, you know, Donald Trump has had many meetings with the faith-based community, you know, Hispanic community, African-American community.
Now, that's a lie, okay? He has not had many meetings with the African-American community. He has not had a lot of meetings with the Hispanic community. He has had some meetings with the and there's no other way for me to describe it, the white evangelicals who, you know, have stepped up and supported him. He's been out at, what is it, that university, what is it, Heritage University? Anyway, one of those religious university, Liberty University, I'm sorry. He's been over there a couple of times. He had, you know, a couple of hundred white evangelicals at a meeting, and they didn't actually come out and support him. They said that they would continue to look at him. He's had meetings with quote-unquote black pastors, and those meetings, as far as his participation, has been all of maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Then he gives his stump speech, and then he disappears, takes no questions. And that was 3 meetings in front of the black pastors that were convened by, what's his dumbass, and I'm drawing a blank because this thing really pissed me off. Anyway, so that's just wrong. He has not met with the black community. He sends his surrogates out there to quote unquote talk to the black community, but that's not showing any fruits. Anyway, let me continue with this.
And had numerous you know, meetings about certain issues, and as you go through a campaign, you learn, and you know, essentially he will work for the people. So, you know, it's not uncommon that you progress through a campaign, you learn a lot about what's going on, and you know, sometimes you have to, you know, alter different plans to you know, accommodate what the people are asking for. So I don't see it as you know, anything, you know, bad. You know, if anything, you know, our health and human resources have been, you know, under tremendous amount of strain over the years, and we, Republicans and Democrats have just put this off for so many years.
Then,
So,
Bruce, just so I understand whether it's bad or good, he has now met with many people, and you do think he has changed his position, so it's no longer simply deport those 12 million. He's going to say they can stay?
yeah,
Yes.
it's just like he's.
See, he answered. He said, yeah, and ran past that real quick.
Said they're trying to come up with some kind of plan. We have millions of people, children, families, and Mr. Trump loves people. He doesn't want to displace families, and and like I said, talking to a lot of the faith-based community across the country and getting a consensus in terms of, gosh, we got to do something, because this has been neglected on Republican side and Democrat side for years. So like you said, stay tuned. There's going to be more and more in terms of learning a lot what's going on in our community that would help the African American community.
Then if he's loving America, opening his heart and opening his mind, what happens to his base? Ann Coulter put in her book, nothing Trump can do, there's nothing Trump can do that won't be forgiven except changing his immigration policy. So if he changes that policy, what happens to that base he has?
Well, at the end of the day, there's more, like you said, to come. I believe it's the 31st. I represent the National Diversity Coalition, and, I work with, hundreds of thousands of multicultural, ethnic groups across the country.
That's another lie. He works with hundreds of thousands of ethnic groups. Hundreds of thousands? Does that sound a little embellished to you? Because it damn sure sounds a whole lot embellished to me. Hundreds of thousands of groups, not people, groups.
I can't really speak for Ann. That's her opinion. However, there's a lot. Like I said, this problem has been neglected so long on both sides that we have to come up with some kind of solution.
How would it be different then from what President Obama is doing? Donald Trump said to Sean Hannity, the rules in place are good. President Obama is doing the right thing. The idea, get the bad ones out and keep the good ones here, I believe that is what the current policy is.
Well, I think, earlier, like I said, I don't speak for the campaign, but I do know in terms.
Wait a minute. How can you not speak for the campaign when you're the executive director of his diversity program? That doesn't make any damn sense.
In terms of, like you said, earlier, there's a situation with back taxes and a lot of things that have, undocumented workers that put a tremendous strain on our health and human resources. Not to mention, the money that's been lacked to pay into Medicaid and Social Security, etc.
Okay, and just so that you know, when they're working and they're legitimately on the books, I'm not talking about off the books, they pay into Social Security. They pay state and federal taxes. They just can't get a tax return, and they can't draw on Social Security. Now, their kids can, don't get me wrong. If their kids, need something and it's covered under the Social Security Administration, and the kids are U.S. citizens, obviously the kids can draw. But they themselves, illegal aliens, cannot draw Social Security.
Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton a bigot last night. Do you think she's a bigot?
Well, as an African American, and I do remember the Clinton days in '92, they courted the African American vote. And and she referred to them, as us, as super predators.
Okay, let's clean that up too. She didn't refer to the African American community as super predators. She referred to gangbangers and criminals, young gangbangers and criminals, as super predators. So let's keep that straight.
And then for getting the African American vote, they came with the Clinton crime bill in '94, which was the biggest mass incarceration of African Americans in the history of the United States.
Okay, now let's clean that up as well. It is called the Clinton crime bill because he was president at the time it was passed. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, the country was going through a tremendous crime wave. The Republicans, as usual, are always pushing the fact that they were the law and order party, like Trump is pushing right now. The Democrats were afraid of losing power, and that's how that Clinton crime bill came into being. The majority of the Democrats in the House and the Senate voted for it, along with a bunch of Republicans. So within the House and the Senate, obviously, was the Congressional Black Caucus, and they voted for the damn thing too. So is he trying to say that that made the Congressional Black Caucus a bunch of bigots? I'd love to hear his answer on that.
Did those policies make her a bigot?
Well, like I said, she referred to us as super predators.
That's a lie.
So you do believe, just so I understand, you do believe, and just before we go then, and Donald Trump, you think she is more of a bigot than things he has said in the past?
Yeah, the actions speak louder than the words. She, like I said, she referred to our community as super predators.
Okay, that's a lie, and he damn sure is not going to bring up the housing discrimination lawsuit that he had to settle with the Department of Justice. He damn sure ain't going to bring up the fact that Donald Trump was trying to get innocent black and Hispanic teenagers killed. Look up the Central Park 5. Donald Trump took out a full-page ad at the time that those boys were wrongfully convicted, and he was asking that the death penalty, which was not in effect in New York, be reinstated so that it could be used on those boys. Donald Trump has never apologized for those boys, even though DNA evidence and the confession of the actual rapist was on a record. And then when they did the investigation and they saw how the police railroaded those boys and violated their civil rights, I mean, that thing was ridiculous. But Trump never apologized for that. Not to mention, I'm not even going into the Hispanic side about calling the illegal aliens coming over from Mexico a bunch of criminals, murderers, and rapists. Everybody's heard that. He said that on day one. What about all of the white supremacist, anti-African American stuff that he retweets all over the place? And the fact that he couldn't disavow David Duke or white supremacist groups because he was trying to win the Iowa caucuses. Nah. This guy got into it with Charles Blow on CNN, and Charles Blow was basically blowing him up. But the most memorable thing that Charles Blow said to this guy was, I know a racist when I see one. I know a bigot when I see one. He's a bigot, and anybody that supports him is supporting bigotry. Therefore, you are supporting bigotry. Nailed his ass. So, and you wonder why we have such a hard time dealing with the Republican Party when it's guys like these that basically turn their backs on their own community in support of racist people like Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this guy, I mean, there are some bad people out there, but it's the ones that want to blow smoke up your butt and claim that, and claim there's a fire somewhere. No, I'm not buying this guy. He's been a problem, from what I understand, and doing a little research for a while, and he's drunk the Trump Kool-Aid, and there's no saving this guy. There's a saying in various cultures and religions, everybody can't be saved, and everybody won't be saved. This is one of the guys that damn sure won't be saved.